everyone, welcome to the COD POD by Minute Meta. I am your host, Darth Tib. We're joined tonight by the one and only Braspian as we are going to be diving into the massive announcement that Call of Duty made during the World Series of Warzone. They are doing another Resurgence tournament. This time it is going to be on Fortune's Keep. I know it is an extremely hot topic. Of a lot of people don't really like Fortune's Keep, saying Rebirth is better. Sorry if you
a lot of people are wrong.
Exactly. A lot of people are horribly wrong. Fortune's Keep is a much better map than Rebirth for this style of gaming. I understand why a lot of people in the Call of Duty community like Rebirth. It kind of fits the traditional 3-lane Call of Duty style map where you don't have a bunch, the multiplayer-ish style, but it's just not that good. It's just this is
ground war where you land from the sky. What?
It's just so much better. Fortune's Keep is just so much better of a map. But anyway, we're gonna dive into everything that you need to know about Fortune's Keep Resurgence, or as they're calling it, the CDLR, Call of Duty League Resurgence. Everything you need to know before you dive in to start playing it, if you're eligible, all that good stuff, the rules, the format that they're gonna follow, everything about that. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and dive into that. Just from initial thoughts, Brass, what are your initial thoughts about this?
This seems a very official thing, and it immediately makes me think that there is hope for Resurgence style maps and gameplay pretty quickly into Warzone 2. That is one thing that has on my mind, them pushing something like this for a smaller style of gameplay.
Yes.
That a lot of us like. That a lot of people are worried that Warzone 2 is going to come out. They're going to have a big map, and they're all going to be bored.
Yep. So one thing that I want to point out, because as I was reading through all of this trying to get prepared for this podcast, I went down to the frequency asked questions. And one of the frequency asked questions, not frequency. Wow, I've been in marketing meetings all day and I heard the word frequency about 1,000 times. That's why you're going to hear me say it. Frequently asked questions, which is technically the same thing. One of the frequently asked questions: why is the CDL piloting a Warzone program? Will this impact the CDL's commitment to multiplayer? This is their answer to that question. The league remains committed to multiplayer and the core Call of Duty League experience. We are piloting the Call of Duty League Resurgence program as an additional way to serve the Call of Duty competitive audience. Similar to previous Call of Duty League and Warzone programs, i.e. CDL Warzone weekends, we have worked to provide additional competitive Call of Duty products across the franchise, fanbase, and ecosystem. We recognize that the Resurgence gameplay is extremely popular, and we hope Resurgence and Call of Duty League fans alike will enjoy participating in and watching this fast and frantic game mode. Please share respectful and additional feedback that we improve. Please share. I am a bot. I'm going to say this. I'm trying to say this quickly, like most people do when they're doing sidebar. Please share respectfully additional feedback as we can improve the next edition of this leak. That was so bad, but it's fine. Anyway, so that is their answer to why they are doing this. Honestly, if the CDL is getting into Warzone, I think Resurgence kind of fits more of what the CDL wants to do, because they like pushing multiplayer and they like pushing fast-paced types of games. Resurgence is extremely fast-paced comparatively to large BR style of map. So, have you seen that, read that, what I just read?
Not just now. Yeah,
so
I hadn't seen that yet. I did not go to the FAQ.
Yeah,
I mean, I like it. I like anything that gives us more competitive gameplay, more stuff to watch, get people involved, think maybe I could do it. I like that there's an open. I mean, I also like that there's the actual competitive teams, the CDL teams we're going to play.
Yep.
Because that's going to be crazy.
Yep.
Because just imagine people from the quals just pooping on CDL teams would be pretty cool to.
That would be impressive.
It'd be a pretty cool feeling.
Yep.
But also some of these, I don't know. They say CDL teams. I'm not sure if they're talking about the actual multiplayer teams or if they're just going to have people from their orgs.
So
that's one thing I'm confused. I'm wondering about that.
I think so. If you listen to our last podcast before the World Series of Warzone, we talked about how we think the CDL is eventually going to start getting into Warzone and having Warzone teams. They had some people that weren't signed to the quote unquote CDL teams when they played the Rebirth tournament. I know that the LA Gorillas team is the team that won the last time, and that was Unrational's team. Was it Unrational? Gary. Yeah, it was
I don't remember.
Gary Unrational. His team won it. That was an amazing tournament. Everyone thought they were going to win it going in because he's just an absolutely goated Rebirth player. But I think this is going to bring in the lines of people of CDL starting to dip their toes into signing some Warzone people. Uh, Another thing that happened along those lines this week, let me pull this up really quick. Mr. Huskers. I just typed in Cuskers. Husker. Why can I not type? I can't get the Y off for some reason.
What Y?
I fat fingered Y whenever I was typing H.
Oh.
Okay, I'm sorry. Mr. Huskers earlier this week signed with Luminosity. If you do not know, Luminosity are the franchise owners of the Seattle Surge. So, I think this is going to be the entrance for some of these people signing some Warzone pros. I'm excited about this. This caught my eye because when I saw he signed with Luminosity, I was like, wait a second, Luminosity owns a CDL team, and that's when I went here. Yep, they own the Seattle Surge. So I'm hoping that Huskers plays in it under the Surge banner, and yeah, I'm hoping that we see this open up that door.
And Joe 100 Thieves. What?
Please,
What?
bread,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
FIFA.
Please. Please.
Yep. Uh-huh.
Oh
Congratulations
gosh.
to FIFA on winning the solo YOLO. We are going to talk about that in just a little bit. I forgot to mention that in the opening. We are actually going to talk about the World Series of Warzone after we finish talking about the Fortune's Keep Resurgence game mode tournament 100K thing that they're doing with the CDL. But we wanted to give you all the information about that we could, because that I think is going to be more prevalent at this point. If you've watched the World Series of Warzone, you know what happened. But we're still going to give you our thoughts on it. So let's kind of break down into what we think is going to happen here with the Fortune's Keep, or not even what we think. We're going to tell you what the whole thing's about. So to bring it open, you have to, number one, actually, let's scroll down to here so you can see it. It actually gives you how it works. Number one, in-game open stage. So the way this is going to work, you have to sign up your team on the website that they tell you to whenever you go to this website. It's like called Battle something. You have to sign your team up by the deadline of October 1st at 8 p.m. Game battles. You have to register your team on game battles. And there are going to be two different public playlists, one on September 30th and one on October 1st. They're going to be on the afternoons from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. PST, both of those days. Those are the qualifying stages. What you do is you're going to drop into those game modes. You're going to play as many games as you can. It's going to count your highest 10 games on this scoring format. Each kill that you get will be 1 point. Plus, you will have a multiplier on top of that. First place is ×2, second to fourth is 1.8, fifth to seventh is 1.6, 8th to 10th is 1.4, 11th to 13th is 1.2, and 14th to 16th is 1. So basically, me and Brass were kind of talking about this before we started. I think you're going to have 10 games of at least 60 points to qualify. So 600 points. You're going to have at least 600 points to qualify. This is in trios. Honestly, it could be higher than that. It may be 10 games of 7. Or, sorry.
10 games of 70.
I'm a bot. Yeah, 10 games of 70. It literally, you may have to have 700 points.
And how the points work, just you look at my screen is the kills, and then of course there's multipliers, just like World Series of Warzone.
Yep.
But I like that the multipliers are a little more broken up.
Yes.
Because I mean I guess it is a very much smaller group, but I mean, it's gonna take a bunch of really good first place wins
Yeah.
to qualify. That's really the only way
First
about it.
first place wins or high kill second through fourth. If you're finishing fifth in the Resurgence game mode, you're probably not gonna that game probably won't count unless you just have some other ridiculous games because you're just I don't know. You're really gonna have to finish second through fourth or first for this to really for you to count. They are taking the top 64 teams to advance to the qualifiers. The qualifiers will be round one. It will be 64 teams total, and then they will break it up into 4 different groups. The top 8 from each one of those groups will move into round 2, and they'll repeat the same progress. The top 8 from Group E and Group F, which is the 2 groups from there, will be shuffled completely, and then go into the semifinals, and where they will play 6 CDL teams and 2 Activision invite teams. I don't know what that means,
Oh,
but
I didn't see that. Activision
yes,
invite teams too,
yes.
huh?
So Activision is going to invite 4 teams total, 2 teams for each semifinal. So there will be a total of 12 CDL teams. So all of the CDL teams will have representatives. And then there will be 2 Activision invite teams from both, making that equal to 4. Then there will be 8 open teams in each one, making that equal to 16, making it a total of 32 teams. The top 8 from both of those will go into the finals to compete for $100,000. They are actually doing this one on Twitch this time instead of YouTube. I'm not really 100% sure how they're getting around that. Almost every single thing that's done in the CDL has to be streamed on YouTube. I'm not sure how they're getting around it this time, other than the fact that I know they wanted to do it because of what happened last time, and a lot of people actually not being able to play in the tournament because of the YouTube restriction. But now they've made it to where you can stream on YouTube, you can stream on Facebook, and you can stream on Twitch to compete in it. And because of that, they're going to be streaming it on their Twitch Call of Duty channel instead of the YouTube Call of Duty League channel. So that is something majorly different. They have changed that. So if you did not hear me, just to make sure you understand, it does not matter where you stream this time. You will be able to play Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. Let's see here. The final pricing. The team that finishes first in that final will get $30,000, $10,000 per player, broken down. $30,000 one, $21,000 two, $15,000, $12,000, $9,000, $6,000, $4,000, $3,000, with the top 8 finishing in the money. The two biggest things you also need to understand to be able to compete. One, you have to be at least 18 years old because there's money involved in this and a bunch of rules, and it's an open style of format. You have to be at least 18 years old to be able to compete. And B, the one that really breaks my heart, you have to be in North America to compete. I don't like this. I'm sure there's probably going to be a lot of other people that don't like this. The guy who would have been mine and Brass's third, Mr. Jamie, if you've watched our podcast or watched any of my content, you know who he is. He would have 100% been our third for this, but he cannot compete. It makes me sad. But, yeah. Brass, you got anything to add to this part?
Yeah, I'm mad about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Still. I will say I was looking for something on the opens and I haven't found anything related to VPNs.
So it's that's
I know it's like a gentleman's thing, but I don't see anything saying that you can't.
so I
Is all
think
I'm
that
saying.
I think that falls under the like I don't know integrity kind of thing, because there are people who actually would have qualified for the World Series of Warzone who got banned, who were in like the top 10 of the leaderboard, who you could just tell they were VPNing, and they were removed from the qualifiers because of that. And so I'm sure that's one of the reasons why. Another important thing that you kind of need to understand, you have to have your settings. I don't really know where I saw this part at over the rules. Yes. So set the searchable and data visible section to all inside of the actual Activision Call of Duty website. Uh, you have to make sure that they can see your channels. That means, so if you ever use anything like uh Warzone stats, if you've ever used anything like Warzone stats or COD tracker and you can see your stats on there, you're fine. But if you log onto one of those and you cannot see your stats, that means that one of these settings is wrong, and they have to be able to track your data for reasons like that to make sure you're not cheating, to make sure you're not abusing the system, things like that. Uh,
Gotcha.
yeah. So I'm excited about this. I'm going to be competing in this. This is the first time that I've ever actually wanted to compete in one of these. Even whenever they had the Rebirth one earlier, I didn't really care about competing in it. One, because at that point I wasn't really good enough at Rebirth. Two, because it was just the Rebirth sweats in the Rebirth community was toxic and still is toxic. Uh, I'm excited about this because I am actually very, very good at Fortune's Keep. Uh, we at one point this season we had like a 56% win percentage on the map. Since then, it's kind of gone down because we kind of just started doing some BS stuff when we're playing instead of just full out sweating. But
Listen,
when it
M1
was,
Garand plus combat shotgun is the meta. Don't you can't tell me otherwise. Can't
oh
tell me
my gosh!
otherwise.
But yeah, this is a fun. I'm excited about this. I'm hoping this also brings some more of those Rebirth diehards that Fortune's Keep is the worst thing ever created. People who don't actually understand what they're talking about. People over to the Fortune's Keep side and will help them see that, oh yeah, this is actually not that bad of a map. Because I honestly believe that most people's issue with Fortune's Keep is the fact that they haven't played it enough.
Yep.
If
I have
you,
I have some friends that are Rebirth tryhards. Like they
yes,
swear by Rebirth, and they literally played Fortune's Keep when it was off for a few days, and they're like, I think the map's kind of fun. Like I just don't know it yet. I'm like, then keep playing it. It's fantastic.
yep,
You just have to learn to play a little bit different. It leans a little more towards BR than Rebirth does. That's just the thing about it. It's not I mean, it's still not a BR, but it leans way more towards a real BR experience than Rebirth does. I think it's like a happy medium in between Rebirth and Caldera.
yeah, it is a much it the map plays differently than Rebirth, like we were talking about at the beginning of the podcast. But it's a fun map once you learn how to play it. Like
Hmm.
it the rotations on it are weird whenever you first start learning how to play it. Once you figure out how to rotate on the map, it's actually easier to rotate on it than it is in Rebirth. The hardest rotate is always in between the keep area and
In the
the
winery.
winery area, but there are
Hmm.
ways around that. You can
There's always portable balloons,
there
and
yeah, there's portable balloons, there's
or you go the
a
low on the edge of the map.
yeah, low edge of that. Having a sniper, if you have somebody running a sniper on your team, that normally will keep people at bay one way or the other. uh, a sniper that can hit the shots, that will normally at least keep them at bay for a little bit.
Feel like you're
But
talking about me here. Not
no,
the shots part,
no,
just
I,
the.
I'm just talking about in general. Because it's like, well, I have a sniper on my team. Yeah, but did you actually hit the bullet? Because if you didn't, it doesn't matter. Uh, but yeah, I am very very excited about this. Do you have any closing statements about the Fortune's Keep tournament before we move on to the World Series of Warzone recap?
Yeah, I can't wait to win $30,000. Let's go.
Hey, let's do it. I am 100% down.
I
All
mean,
right.
it's not gonna happen, but I'm sure gonna try.
Hey, if even if I just if we somehow make it into the and just qualify, then I'll be ecstatic.
I would be super happy. I would
Like
love to win some money just so I could at T Dog and my earnings.
that
That
was
man's
wow. That was
that
a
man's the best.
low blow.
Actually,
But
I hope he's in here. That'd
if
actually
he's
be
not on Boston's team, I'll be shocked.
yeah, that'd be awesome.
He
Also,
he he's got
speaking
to
on
be on
that,
Boston's team.
I'm sure hoping this happens with Lucci. Sure hoping he goes for it because that man, we're we like Lucci around here, and
That would be yeah.
he actually goes for it and gets some decent teammates, that could be good.
That would
That
be
could be good.
that would be that would be insane. Actually, I'm not gonna lie. If
I
he
hope he
if
does.
if he stays on his low sense and doesn't go to his high sense like he's been talking about doing for forever, but he hates going to his high sense because when he goes to high sense he misses shots and then comes back down to low sense and he's like, wow, I can track everything in the world. Yeah,
Hmm.
but anyway. Alrighty, we are going to move on to the World Series of Warzone recap. If you do not know, Mr. FIFA Kills won the solo YOLO $100,000.
Oh,
Congratulations to him. It was a great map, great ending. Of course, as always, the solo YOLO game is the pressure is the highest thing that you will ever see in any sort of competition esports type of format because there's literally $100,000 on the line to the winner and only the winner has a chance to win money. And so it is
yeah.
an absolutely awesome scenario for just the Call
The
of Duty
dude,
scene and
the
anything
dude
like
played
that.
it so well,
Yeah.
so well.
All right, so I'm gonna let
Yeah.
you kind of talk about this area the most. Long story short, I had a meeting in Little Rock, Arkansas today that was supposed to end at 3. It did not end until 5, and so I was watching this entire thing on my phone on the way back, while I was also in the car with some other people. It was. It was very frustrating. I did get to see some of it. I got to see the last 2 maps of the trios competition, and then I got to watch the end of the solo yellow, but I was
Oh,
not able to deep dive into it like I wanted to. So
that's
I'm
excellent.
just gonna be asking some questions to Brass because Brass was studying this whole thing top to finish, was keeping
Yeah.
me updated while it was going on. So what? Let's talk about
Um,
solo yellow first with Mr. FIFA.
let's
What?
just say I didn't get much done at work today. I'm gonna owe them some time. Yeah, I was like I was just loving watching this, but FIFA really made a crazy big brain gas play with the last minute portable redeploy because I mean just about every single person at the end there was down to hardly any plates, running out of gas mask, no tacticals, no lethals, like everybody's running a riot shield of course, and it was super tense. Swag made it to like third or fourth place, I think, which
Yeah,
was
I think he was top 3.
he played it very well. I didn't expect it, honestly, but FIFA was kind of stuck and he couldn't rotate in because the two guys that were holding it, so he was on edge of gas. So he hit the portable redeploy and he floated on top, let the last like 5 people start to fight. And then when he only had 2 left, he dropped down and smoked them both. And it was fantastic. He waited his timing and just he was going for the money. He was like, nobody sees it. Nobody saw him up there. He was just sitting there just waiting it out. Everybody's like looking around on the ground. Everybody's panicked because you're playing with the best there is, and nobody's looking up.
Yeah.
Literally nobody is looking up, and he's just sitting there like do 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 do. It,
Because
it felt
everybody's worried
like
about that
something you
massive
would have
riot
done.
shield in front of you that you're
Yeah,
trying to get through.
it felt like something you would have done. Yeah, one
Yeah.
of those plays where you just like
Yeah.
I'm just gonna float up here and let them do their thing.
Yeah.
But
I
no,
was
it was a great play. It really was.
I remember watching that part of it and seeing him floating in the air with this like just the circle moving, and I'm like, I like this is a genius play if it works, but it's stupid if it doesn't, because when you're in the air like that, by the time you pull your gun out to shoot, with the way these people hit shots, you're dead. So he's completely all or nothing at this situation
Yep.
because he has to he's dead. He's dead if he doesn't, if somebody sees him. But if no one sees him, like what happened, he's on the ground. He third parties the final fight and he wins, which is
Yep.
exactly what happened. Beautiful play, all or nothing play. That's what you have to do in this solo YOLO $100,000 situation. Fantastic play by him.
Hmm.
Congratulations to Mr. FIFA on the $100,000 and all of the fame, glory, and bragging rights that comes with it. And of course, congratulations to our NA final winners, Skullface, Hisoka, and Miyapo.
Not
Congratulations to them. They also
I
won
can't even
qualifiers.
handle. I can't even handle what happened with these. I mean, I know they won quals. I knew they were going to be good, but I didn't know what to think about those guys. I didn't know their names as well. I'm not as good on the competitive scene. I
Yeah.
didn't know who they were, to be honest. I just knew, well, they must be pretty decent. But the crazy thing about them is first 3 games, you feel like you know that Super Ev, Repulse, and Biffle are going to win it. Like that's your first feeling is you're like they're
Yep.
gonna win this because they were playing crazy. Like the first game, Skullface and them they were what ninth place. Okay, first game wasn't even thinking about them to be honest. We have our eyes over here on Tyrannics, Huskers, Shaded. Weird. I was really thinking I Zealander was playing well. I just didn't really expect him to be consistent. Where I think Shaded no P marked are as consistent as you get. Um,
Congratulations to, I'm just gonna go ahead and say
yeah,
congratulations to myself. I had Shaded OP Mark and Yeet as one of my top three that I suspected to win. They won 2 out of the 5 games. Their biggest
yep.
issue, they play this game like a BR. They play to win, and with how the point style works in Warzone, you have to get kills, and so that's just kind of what
That
held them
is
back.
one thing about this. I feel like there should have been a little extra sauce on top for the win.
Okay, so let me explain. I'm going to explain this to everyone who has never watched the ALGS, also known as the Apex League, the Apex Global League. How their system works. In their system, you get a or you get a point per kill, but instead of it being a multiplier, you get points for finish.
Hmm.
And so if you finish first, you get 10 points. So instead of it being okay, you got 5 kills during the point of a match and you finished first, so now it goes up to 10. If you win the game with 5 kills, you now have 15. And
Hmm.
so it's a very, very different style. And honestly, that would fit OP Mark's team with Shaded and Yeet. Their
It,
style a whole lot better. That's
it
not how
really
the
would.
that's not how the style of World Series of Warzone is. It is total number of kills with a multiplier. That's how Warzone has been since as long as I've been watching anything that's not 2v2 style. But anything that's private match, that's how it's always been. So, but I would like to give myself a little pat on the back. They won 2 out of the 5 matches. I kind of called that one. They were 100% a team to watch out for. Uh, Continue going on with yours as well.
Yeah, so I mean, it was the first match was pretty good. The end almost had Super Ev 1v3 Shaded's whole team. It was and he was literally like a bullet, maybe 2 bullets away from smoking Yeet too. And he had no perks. He landed back in from a bye. It was a super sketchy situation because both Biffle and Repulse dropped down and lost height to go and buy him back. And everybody's like,
First rule
"Ooh,
of
don't."
BR: never give up height in the end game.
Yeah, and everybody's like, "Why are they giving up height?" But they bought him back, and he landed and right in the middle of the zone where he died. Grabbed his stuff. He had his loadout. He had no perks, but he had his loadout, had his tacticals, everything. They were still all there. And so what he just played zone, played careful because he was solo, let people fight, and then at the end it was just literally just him versus Shaded's full team. And I think he smoked. OP marked first, then Shaded pushed into gas towards him. He got Shaded, and then he was having to come out of gas coughing, and he had combat scout on and is shooting him the um through the tents because it was in that area. I don't even know what that area is called. There's a tents area up on high ground
Mm-hmm.
that's I hate playing with those 2 silos or whatever. Not silos, but
Oh
those two
yeah, I know
metal
what you're talking
buildings
about.
over
Yep.
there. Yeah, I hate that area. But he was shooting him through there. Had combat scout. Had to reload his gun. So Yeet's reloading, and dude, Ev was ready. Like he was pushing, he was running straight at him, started shooting, and like just at the right time, Yeats reload finished, and he started shooting, and he got like 2 bullets on him and finished it because he was getting hurt by gas and cut. Dude, it was an insane play by Ev. Like he deserved to win that, and it was just crazy good gameplay.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch
Um,
that clip because that sounds
yeah,
insane.
I think I sent it to you.
Okay, I'll have to
Um,
watch it after we get done recording.
it
But
was it was excellent. So that was the first match, and you're already the whole game until they lost Super Ev and then dropped down. I was like, oh, they're killing it. And then when that happened, I was like, oh shit, well they're done. Like
yeah,
they were one of the teams I was watching because I love Biffle and Super Ev, rep the set right.
yep.
But so they were doing good. Z Later was slaying out, but I think they got
And I think I lost you.
the most kills that game, but they just couldn't put it together. So that's the first match. shaded ones and we're like, okay, not really that surprised. Second match comes around, and yeah,
So
so
they went off.
yes, so the second match, if I remember right, yeah, Super Evan them second match they got 19 kills and the win. It wasn't that crazy to be honest. I remember, gosh, who was second with them? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Xenon and his team, they were second. I don't really think that was that exciting to be
Tommy Almond
honest.
and Noobs dropping a 20 is not surprising
No, no,
in
not at
that.
all. That's right, Nuka was there. Okay, yeah. So the map 2, honestly, wasn't that crazy. MP, they were there. It wasn't that crazy. It was just like they got all the big hitters out early.
Yep.
So that worked excellent for them. And if you look at this, dude, Skullface, Hisoka, Mayabu, they're in 10th place right now
After map 2.
after map 2. They are 40 points away from Super Ev, his team. 40 points. So you're sitting here thinking, like, if you're looking at this, you're thinking, okay, those top three right there are the ones we have to worry about, Like, yeah, Xenon's team, Shaded Step, they could step up, but
Yeah.
you're not looking at 10th place.
Like it's like you've
You're
got
just,
Empathy's team right there.
mhm,
That like
yeah.
that's a surprising team. Not no one's really expecting them to be like that. But then you've got Tommy Almond Noob, Super Evan, Repulse, Biffle. Yeah,
Empathy's team played very,
yeah.
very well the whole time. They were consistent. I mean, they weren't always the top fragger, but they were always up there for
It's like yeah, the
points.
the three out of the three of those top five, like those would though I would have picked those three in my top five at the beginning of the tournament. I did. Like you can go
Yeah.
back and see the tweet, and then you can see underneath it where I replied to Mr. Dead Version, who is an awesome person. Shout out to you, Daddy. He replies, "Well, I really like Super Evan, Repulse, and Biffle," and I'm like, I literally had to choose between them and Shaded Steps team for my number 3 place. Like
Hmm.
it's insane.
Yeah. So I mean, map 2 wasn't crazy, and map 3 is when it started.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
10th place to second place, one game.
What was their score in game 3?
Their score, if I remember right, it was 40 something because they had,
They had 21
yeah, they had
kills.
21 kills and got first place. That's a 42-point game.
Yeah. And then map 4
42-point game.
happened.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is when it went crazy, and the crazy thing is Biffle and them, they were kind of struggling on this one, but they still managed to get second place. But dude, they had the worst rotations. They had no chance, like
Yeah.
just no chance. It was a rough one. And so like the first 3 maps, you're like, okay, yeah, they lost that one, but they're still like by far the most consistent. I'm
Yeah.
still rooting for them. Like I'm like, dude, second, first, second, like yeah, I'm rooting for them. Not even worried about it. And then, and then,
And then map 4.
yes,
Map 4.
it was
It's
insane.
like oh,
Map
yep, it's
4
over. It's over.
was just like the icing on the cake, and I don't really think anybody saw it coming. I don't remember who the second place was on that one. They weren't even, gosh,
Second
yeah. Oh yeah,
was
Tree Gaming,
yeah.
his team. Okay, yeah, but so they weren't even really on the being looked at, but they
No.
just held it outright. But I mean, Biffle's team did pretty good on this map, but Skullface, Myope, Hisoka, their whole strat every game was to land peak, take over peak, and get the what is it, the Doomsday device
Yeah,
where you get
the new thing
Foresight
that they added
Specialist.
last week. Yes.
Yes, and they got it those 2 maps and they fried out. That's literally what they did.
For those of you who don't know,
Um,
the Doomsday device gives you Specialist and Foresight.
yes,
Foresight in this game is
insane.
actually broken because
Mhm.
it tells you exactly where in game is going to be and all of the pulls that are going to happen inside of in game. And so
So
I think they got it in 3 different games, didn't they?
yeah, I think 3.
So because I think they got it map 2, 3,
I
and
think
4.
they got 2, 3, and 4. Yeah.
Yeah, and they got it inside of map 2, 3, and 4. So they know in 3 of the 5 maps that they played, they knew where circle was going to end
Hmm.
and how to hold the rotations once circle closed. Like
Which
it's stupid.
which is a big deal when you're playing a normal game, but when
Yes,
you're playing with people of this level, that's a massive deal. Rotations are everything when you're playing people about equal or close skill like
because
this.
one of the biggest RNG aspects of a battle royale is
is the
how
pull.
the circle, the gas, how whatever game you're playing, however you want to call it, how that pulls so you have the best spot for end game. And
Hmm.
when you know where it's going to pull and how you're going to be able to just hold everybody out, yeah, is it as we can see from this very very good set of data, it's very hard to lose
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
we now be going to map 5. Map 4 and 5 are the ones that I got to actually like sit down and watch.
Map
Map
5 was a
5
mess, dude. It
Map
was a
5 was
mess.
crazy
Like
because
who won Map 5?
I can't even
Was that
remember.
that was
Pe-
Shaded, wasn't it?
yeah,
Yeah, Shaded.
like yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Shady won it because that was he bookended it. They won the first one and won the last one. Uh,
Hmm.
and still managed to get what, 5th place.
14.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they got 5th place, and so, but they didn't drop peak map 5 because they still ended up getting knocked out pretty early. They got 20th place with 4 kills. Uh, but they
They thought
didn't.
everybody was going to go for him.
Yes, and they didn't, especially did not want Super Evan, Repulse, and Biffle to land on them and kill them immediately, and
Hmm.
then they get foresight and go on and win the game. That was basically the only chance Super Evan, Repulse, and Biffle had, was they had to win the game while dropping a bunch of kills. And if that's, I was honestly kind of hoping that would happen, as both those teams would just dive bomb it, and whoever won it just like if Skullface Suzuka and won and Miapo won that 3v3, they win the tournament. It's over.
Hmm.
But then if Super Evan, Repulse, and Biffle win it, we have an intense map 5. But because both of them got knocked out super early, because Biffle's team got knocked out in 35th place, and then Miapo's team got knocked out in 20th place. Like the rest of map 5 was just kind of bleh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unlike, I don't know if any of y'all watched the EU one, it came down to like the top 7 teams in map 5. Like that's when everyone kind of finally knew, okay, who won. Like it was the last circle before anyone actually knew who was going to win in the EU. Whereas with this one, it was just kind of nonchalant game 5. It was more of for
Exactly.
pride than anything, with OP Mark winning it, them and knocking them up to 5th place and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But
I mean, Map 5 was crazy. The thing about Biffle and Super Ev is they were playing really, really well. And even Repulse, dude, he was trolling. Like he had this meme of them together and like him with like this goofy face on it. Dude, I was rolling.
love
Like
Repulse.
I'm, dude, hilarious, dude. But if I haven't seen a harder carry in my life, that was, dude. He had
Biffle and
11 and a
Super Evan.
half points to his name. I mean, if you look over here, Myapu, Skullface, and Hisoka, 40,
They
42, 48.
they all just fragged.
If Biffle and Suprev had a bet, I mean, Rapol's did some good plays, and he wasn't the top fragger. He
Yes.
did some great plays.
We're not hating on Repulse.
I love
Repulse
the
is
dude.
a top 1% of the 1% player and is
Oh
a
yeah,
fantastic content creator. The reason why Super Evan and Biffle played with him is because they are used to playing with him. They
yeah.
play together all of the time. They
Mhm.
weren't going to try and mess with the chemistry and try and get another fragger. Repulse is also, I wouldn't say he's more of a, he's not an IGL, but he's definitely a chemistry guy. And
Yeah,
so
a
Super
support
Evans
guy.
100%, Super Evans is the IGL of this team. It's 100%. Biffle is the
Hmm.
gunny. Uh
Yep.
but Repulse is the mesh for them. That's why they played with him. Even though he's not the best quote unquote gunny, that like even though Repulse only had 11 and a half points in this tournament, he's still absolutely fantastic. And
Hmm. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I think if they would have picked somebody else, I don't think they would have finished second. I honestly
Really?
believe that because
Yeah.
of how much of a glue Repulse is for that team. Because
Yeah.
them 3 play
Good point.
together constantly.
That's a good point. But
So
I mean, the thing that I was rooting for is that Super Ev, even though they lost, he was the MVP.
he had
48 and a half
48 and a half.
points.
He had the most points of
48 and a
anybody.
half. Yep, half a point more than Maapu. And then Biffle right behind him, 46. He
46.
would have been the third highest scoring.
Dang.
With the total kills of 29. I mean, I think, yeah, Maapu, I think, was the top fragger with, what, 33? I don't think anybody got
Yeah,
close to
nobody
that.
else. Yeah, nobody else got
Yeah, watch Waldo with 27. There you
27.
go.
That's insane. That's a hard. He had a
Yeah.
hard carry then.
Yeah.
But
But no, I think that that's yeah.
yeah,
Then so 33 and then a couple 29s. Dude, Tyrannics and Empathy's team, they played really well.
yeah.
Very
See,
solid. I mean,
I didn't
obviously
know any
they
of them
play
besides
Stirred.
Empathy. I've heard of Empathy, but I'd never heard of the other two.
I've heard of Tyrannics once, but I don't know where from. I don't know if I've seen
Yeah.
some of his content or something, but um, no, but it was interesting. And Aiden
Okay, so
got
that's okay. So
oh my
we need to
gosh.
talk about the other thing. The other massive thing that happened in Map 5, and I am honestly extremely pissed off about this. So going into Map 5, Aiden's team was in fourth, and he dev-aired. Aiden dev-aired before anyone had touched the ground. He dev-airs, and honestly, automatic reset. It
Oh yeah.
should have been an automatic reset. The rule for I don't know the rules for this specific tournament because the way this one was set up is very very different from how normal tournaments are set up. So I'm going to explain this to anyone who has never watched competitive Call of Duty private match tournaments. So, the way that they normally do custom lobby matches is somebody starts a lobby, like the tournament director starts the lobby, and then everybody joins on the tournament director inside of a custom lobby. You pray that it doesn't shut down before everybody gets in there, and then you start. You pray nobody gets in there that's not supposed to get in there. It is a whole complicated mess trying to set up custom lobbies. Well, they do it differently with World Series of Warzone. With World Series of Warzone, they actually whitelist players, not the whitelist that you think exists that doesn't actually exist, where streamers get better lobbies, they get whitelisted. No. They actually put all of the people who are playing in the tournaments on a whitelist, where if you are whitelisted, when you click play, the only server that you can load into in the game is the server that the game is being played on. There is a dedicated server somewhere in the middle of the United States, I think it's Texas, that they play on, so everyone has the most equal amount of ping. And if you're whitelisted, when you get whitelisted before the tournament starts, you cannot play another game because it will just automatically load you into that server. And so dev errors cancellations in this format don't happen very often. They happen all of the time in normal custom lobbies because normal custom lobbies are so broken and scattered. Like, it just does not, normal custom lobbies do not work very well at all. But with this, it doesn't normally happen. So the normal rule is if 5% of the lobby dev errors or gets kicked out or anything like that, something goes wrong with their game, before the first circle closes, then they reset the lobby. With this, I don't know what the rule was. I know of at least 2 different people. So I'm going to go over here. We talked about it. We put out a tweet. Follow us on Twitter. If you do not, Minute Metas on Twitter. They had someone in the top 5, Aiden. Aiden was 4th whenever the lobby started. He dev-aired before anyone even touched the ground. With this much money on the line. So we can go back to where I had it pulled up, where actually I can't pull it up. I had it anyway. The top there's $300,000 on the line. The difference between first pull yours back up where you have all of the scores. Do you still have the score sheet pulled up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So kind of close them all down so I can see like everybody's total score. Okay. So we have first place at 130, second place at 106, third place at 92. Those were kind of set in stone. The difference between 4th place and 8th place was 10 points.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference. I'm just going to pull it up because I need to know at this point. Top 10.
What?
The money. The difference
Oh, the
between
money?
fourth place and eighth place in money is $9,000. There's a $9,000 difference between fourth place and eighth place. Sorry, 7. So, $8,000 difference. You can't allow that to happen. If the person who is in fourth in the entire tournament, Devers, going into the last map, at this point he still had a chance to actually finish third, maybe even second if they go off and have a 40 or 50 point game, which we had already seen early in the tournament. And he Devered before anybody hit the ground. You have to restart the lobby, no questions asked. And then somebody else who was also in the top 10, Zealander, when he went to go grab his loadout, he got the freaking loadout error, and then he dev-aired before first circle had closed. So you have 2 different people in the top 10 who dev-air before the end of first circle. You have to restart the lobby when it's this big of a tournament. I don't care what the optics are of,
He's trending right now. I just saw that.
Who is? Zealander?
Aiden.
Oh, Aiden is?
4,000 tweets.
Dang.
Woo!
But I don't care if it's your biggest. The reason why they don't is because of optics. Because if they in their mind, having a couple players dev air is not a big of a deal as if we restart the lobby right now in the biggest tournament in the world, or the biggest tournament in the world with everybody watching, the optics are horrible. I'm sorry. Okay, think about it like this. What if Ahsoka had dev-aired going into the last one? Think about that. What if Ahsoka dev-airs? Whoops, that's the wrong thing. What if Super Evan dev-airs? Like, Super Evan, I don't know why this canceled. Super Evan is trying to get to first. Yeah. If one of them dev-air dropping into the map, and you don't restart, the whole tournament is washed immediately.
Crazy.
That's my rant on it. Sorry, that was probably a lot longer than I wanted it to. But
no, it was awful. It was awful. Just the fact that they just were like, oh no, Aiden dev-aired. That's all that they said.
Yeah.
They couldn't say anything more about it. They just tried to act like it didn't happen. Thankfully, his teammates were goated.
Yeah,
they ended up making it to 10th place. They got kills. They didn't get an early elim. Like, they held it down enough where they didn't get knocked out of that spot. But it was a half a point away because Shade and them got the win.
Yeah.
A half a point away from getting knocked down. And what is that? That's probably a couple $1,000?
That
from 4th to 5th.
From 4th to 5th is $2,500 for the team.
Yeah, $2,500 from a half a point that they literally could have. They easily could have lost because they had one less teammate.
Yep.
I mean,
also one of the best, not just one less teammate, one of the best players in the world.
Yeah. Like, I can't even imagine. The dude was furious earlier. Like, he was mad. I heard he ranted on stream for a minute.
Oh, I'm sure.
You know that the man plays with passion.
Yeah. That man has passion.
But hey, quickly afterwards, he was in a better mood because he had Tim spectating him in the solos and did a dance for him.
Nice.
So he was in a better mood like 30 minutes later. So.
But, all right, everybody. I think that's going to be it for this episode of the COD Pod. Please like the video. I'm going to go ahead and say that right now. If you're still here, like the video. Make sure you subscribe so it will help us in the algorithm. Also, if you're listening to us on Spotify, drop us a 5-star review and tell us how much you like the podcast. Even if you hate the podcast and just want to drop us a 5-star review. So tell us what to improve on. That would be awesome as well. Thank y'all so much for watching. Y'all slay out and aim for greatness.